What's really going on around here? Well, I cleaned the dandruff off of my shirt. That's a good thing. Today we're going to talk about some stuff. Um, put your smart caps on and let's try to integrate emotional integrity into your morality. Okay, you know what a bunch of zeros and a bunch of ones are, right? Um, have you ever seen a picture in them before or a face? There's a name for that in psychology if you can see a face on a tree or on a rock. But let's go higher than that. Okay? Now we're in the stars. Okay, now let's just hold that thought. Let's take 1 0 and 1 1. Now let's take a binary or a binary. Let's take one of those scan things. You can see a little picture in there. If you count the bars of 0 and 1s going across and up and down, you would get 3200. You can call that a nova frequency with a face in it. Okay, very conscious. Now, if you were to use your emotional integrity being a frequency like you are the receiver of a Bluetooth from your environment around you, okay? And now you're going to broadcast yourself on the lowest frequency. And you are going to be harmonic because you're going to try to sing in every emotion you have. Everyone. Even the aggressive one. But be passionate. Like, know what you're being aggressive about. Exfoliate and try to look at things in a brighter, more passionate way. When you're exfoliating, you're bigger, faster, stronger. Okay? So now we would call that... okay, if you had a totem pole, right, and there was a frog in it, okay, and the frog was like on the top, and then on the bottom of the other one, there was a grasshopper, and then there was an eagle, the third from the top, so it could spiral after it jumps on the other one's head and plays leapfrog, and then the eagle does a backflip forward though and twists its body and just releases with its talons. That's your emotions going through the frequency, connecting with that guy, because radio waves last forever. And now, because you were aggressive, you're calm, you're cool, collected, but maybe he's not. So now we're going to call that a flex rate of emotions to everything in his and in between your static or hesitate. You're not confined to the frequency you use on any electronic. It's merely a gateway into spirits in other frequencies that can relay your message through their spiritual embrace. And you may also do the same if you look in their eyes. Like in the last video we expressed about your legacy, trying to help out the anomaly. The anomaly doesn't use finances and doesn't eat the same biscuits as you. You know what I'm saying? Still needs to eat. P is ecstatic. You know what I mean? So how would you sonificate to an anomaly that already sonificates to you, but you just neglecting the spirit in your um, sphere, um, I bet you now that when, like, you can think about this any way you like, but if you, like, there's a lot of kids going to a lot of schools, so you've already thought, well, what about the bad guys right now? Okay, what about the bad guys in 20 years? What about if one of you decided you wanted to reach out to music class? One of you wanted to reach out to that one where you create clothing. One of you wanted to do marketing. How your registry of passion would excel through the child compass everlasting and their circle of friends. Like the chitter chatter, like of one kid that likes mechanics versus one kid that wants to bake a muffin and feed it to that kid. Just their casual conversation, or like having a group exercise. Like they could pretty much just, you know, you would get so much emotional feedback that um, you would be letting yourself emotionally beat you up in an argument, in a fight going back and forth, locking arms behind each other's backs of oneself, and throwing the spirit body out of one another to twist around the okay, you know when you're lifting weight off of a levered system, and if the weight is unbalanced and you drop a weight on it, how it will shoot up into the air? Well, now you're doing that, but with what's that thing Batman has where he throws it and it goes around the legs and it stops the person and they trip and land on their face? Well, you're going to throw that all over those totem poles. And because you're doing this in a creative outlet, you might actually be able to grab them and learn how to levitate. You know what I'm saying? Like, these possibilities are pretty much endless. And now imagine this, okay? The spirit, which is the static, which is the P, which is in the frequency, right? Is harmonic with those kids. Just imagine. And those kids, I don't know, make a song about what they're working on. And it has you subliminally in it. Think about that on an anthem. If the static friend, the kids and you were all like, okay, now imagine this after you die. And now let's pretend that you're the static that can put the faces on the stuff. And you're feeling the vibration while you're living in a tree. Would you try to scare future generations of kids? Would you drop an apple of relativity down upon them? I think you would do everything that everything else could do, but you will do and you should do. Sorry about the will do and should do. I was just your two shadow alter egos trying to pick a fight with you so you can have a breakthrough, bro. Like, get up and grow, man. I hope you're as inspirational to me as I am to you. Now let's talk about the significance of Friar Tuck and Robin Hood. He lives in the forest in between the cities, and he offers everybody advice. At one point, Robert Hood, see what I'm doing? If there's a Robert there, hello Robert. This video is for you, bro. Subliminally, run it, man. And because your name is Robert, when you do this, just like Friar Tuck and Mr. Hood himself, that Hood invited Friar Tuck to his archery. Like, just to praise him, man. He's like stuck in limbo. Can't even afford underpants. My only pants that I own, I'm like them because all I own is pajama pants. That's it. But if you ask me to come to your exhibits or whatever, I might ask if I could borrow a pair of your pants if my dress code's not suitable. Or even better yet, I'd go to that kids class that makes the cool sweaters with Robertson on the name. That on the bottom it says, "Don't tease the sleaze." That shirt, that's my favorite one. So now we figured out how to stop crime in the future. There might be a little bit here and there, but like, kids grow up so fast. They're just like a sponge for learning. When we're adults, we may change careers 8 times in a lifetime. And by kids, they change for what, every 3 months on a semester for like 12 years. And your hocus pocus is a little bit in every semester, especially in 40 years. Do you know what's cool about the spirits? Is after I post and say one thing, when I listen to it back before I even send it, the wording's already changed. Like, there's secret shout outs to everyone in it. Imagine who you'd be giving shout outs to. Oh my God, this every time this handsome person talks, I just melt a little bit. He just like knows me. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're like two peas in a pod. Maybe a little bit of your consciousness is just entangled in a little bit of her consciousness. And the static friend, he just knows that. Like, just have patience, man. And I wasn't talking to you. Sorry, nobody helps me with my, what's it called? Downright dirty depression. So, I'm talking to the girls that like me for being sad. Do you see what I'm doing here? Anyways, oh, the dandruff's back. I promise I'll get better at taking out the garbage. You should see my sock drawer. So, when we're talking about the bad guys, how often do you think the court binding procedures would have to be fully looked at? Like, I don't know. Like, because some of us are older than other of us that are watching this. So, you should ask the ones that graduated in your common denominators that have a 10-year high school reunion, like, or 10 years apart. There's not going to be many of you because more than that would be impossible. This is a magic, right? So you'd just be like, do you think we should like check out the jails and stuff? Like every like what 10 years and see if the whole law, like, have you ever seen the law library? Like, what a waste of paper, man. I bet you every 12 years, 30 books, 86, 91, A, B, C, I, section, um, I bet you wouldn't even have to turn into a mean plaque monster. You know what I'm saying? I think a little bit differently. Like I'm more alphanumeric, quicker than the average cup of Joe. Walt Disney's shoelaces used to tie themselves. Mine untie. Mine try to trip me. Everything I do is purposed. And nobody has to tell me how to purpose it. I wish you guys would remember every cell in our body is different within 7 years. And when it comes to how many cells are in the body in the generation process, just of like the time frame, like since you've been acting like creeps, like you're almost halfway to being a total new identity. How is your practicing going? Like, how's your future foundation? You got a couple more years left, man, before you're going to be in it. Um, I love you.